Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the current and possible future events of the great battle that's currently going on in Onigashima. Because as we are getting closer and closer to the end of Luffy's confrontation with Kaido, we are faced with a lot of new questions, but the biggest of which is, what is going to happen to the floating island after Kaido's defeat? Now, aside from any potential devastation that could come from the island falling, we also have to remember that the world government and the Marines are currently on their way, if not are currently in Wano. And we're also thinking about the fact that Zunisha is also somewhere around these islands. So how will all of these things play out together as our story moves forward? But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you want to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing the video with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So during chapter 1046, we saw that Raizo really was the center point of the story. And with Jinbei's help, together they were able to hopefully extinguish all the flames that are going all throughout the castle of Onigashima. Now, this one act may be the thing that saves the most lives throughout this whole raid. And also it demonstrated this amazing trust between these two individuals, because Raizo and Jinbei may not know each other that well, or even at all, but because they're fighting for the same goal, they were able to bring both of their great abilities together to save everyone else around on the island. But the most important events of this chapter still involve this amazing fight between Luffy and Kaido, where we see dialogue between the two of them, and Kaido still really isn't understanding what's going on with Luffy. I mean, he actually asked him who he was, because his appearance and power has completely changed while this transformation is still going on. We also learned that it is possible that this fight might be coming to its end, because Yamato confirmed last chapter that Kaido is very tired because she noticed that the flame clouds he was using to keep Onigashima aloft were starting to go away. So with this statement, we know that this Yonko's defeat, or at least the end of the fight, is very near. So if Luffy ends up defeating Kaido, the entire island of Onigashima would start falling at once, because it's only because of Kaido's clouds that are keeping this thing in the air. So it's really going to come down to Momonosuke and whether he can step up to start creating clouds of his own with the power of the devil fruit that he possesses. Now, we do know that Momo's fruit is in fact a copy of Kaido's fruit, or at least the closest thing, even if Vegapunk says that it was somehow a failure, because we know that he has the ability to change into a dragon, and so it's safe to assume that he possesses the same powers. But because of his inexperience with using all of these, or his fear, it might not be able to be something that he can yet pull together. So with all this background covered, we're going to go ahead and start talking about what could be happening and our expectations and upcoming events for One Piece chapter 1047. Now, to continue with our story about Momonosuke, we know that he is going to have to figure out a way to overcome his fears. And Yamato has even previously warned him about this, because if he doesn't keep these clouds or make them to save the island, Onigashima, everyone inside, and everyone on the ground nearby would end up losing their lives. And it could be this very possibility where we finally see Momonosuke build up his courage and use his clouds to move the island to safety. After all, it's not just the physical island of Onigashima that really causes a threat, but Kaido still has items inside his castle that could cause amazing destruction. And although Yamato froze all of the bombs with her devil fruit power, it doesn't mean that it will stop these bombs from exploding altogether if the island were to hit the ground. Now, we would also see all of the rubble cause great devastation, as we saw what happened when Big Mom fell from the castle and hit the ground herself. So if just Big Mom caused all of this damage, we know that an entire island would cause all the more. Now, at this point, we do not know if Big Mom lost her life or not, but it could be that she will show back up, or this will be confirmed in a future episode or a future chapter. But considering that Charlotte Linlin, or Big Mom, is one of the most powerful characters in the entire story, it doesn't mean that the people on the floating island will survive either. And we know that because of her great durability, she's probably going to come back at some point. But if Wano were to be hit by Onigashima, we'd have to consider that this would be an entire disaster and could take out multiple islands. With everything that's going on in the skies, in the city below in the capital, we know that the citizens of Wano are celebrating the big party, so nobody may ever even know or see Onigashima floating above them. And nobody knows about the fight, or Kaido's pirates, or the alliance between Luffy's pirates and the samurai. None of this is known, so all of this could come nearly right before they see the island island start to fall. Now, as slowly as the island has been getting closer and closer to the flower capital, Momonosuke's been trying his best to keep Onigashima from falling into Wano. And it may be this next chapter that he finally gets the way to create his clouds to at least redirect the island or keep it aloft altogether. So perhaps this could be like Momonosuke's moment, just like when his father held all of his vassals above the boiling oil so many years ago. This could be Momo's great moment, because we know that although the fight between Kaido and Luffy isn't over, there could be some great ramifications once the fight comes to an end. So moving on to Kaido and Luffy's fight, we know that this should be going back on, and in one of the last panels of the last chapter, we saw Luffy in the sky holding onto a lightning bolt as if he was going to throw it at Kaido. Now, whether he has the ability to summon lightning, much like he does fire in his Red Hawk attacks, or just can simply grab lightning because he's made of rubber, we don't know. But this is a very interesting advancement in his powers. In any case, we know that this attack is sure to have a great effect on Kaido, because even though he has this incredibly strong skin, that doesn't give him any resistance to electricity. And although this attack might not take Kaido's life, it would bring an end to the fight. But whether Kaido still has an awakening up his sleeve or something else, we know that just one bolt of electricity or lightning bolt isn't gonna take him out. But either way, once Kaido starts to falter, Momonosuke is gonna have to step up and create his clouds. Another thing to consider is that as Kaido's and Luffy's fight comes to some kind of climax, or Kaido is nearly defeated, we also have to bring Zunisha into the equation, because perhaps he may intervene or be the final thing that brings Kaido's defeat to reality. Because we know Zunisha can hear the drums of liberation, which are being emitted from Luffy's heart. So it's possible that the big elephant is going to get attracted to where the fight is occurring, because he wants to confirm that Joy Boy has returned. It has also been widely speculated in the community that once Zunisha is finally there in Wano, Zunisha might take Zou off her back and place it in Wano so that Zou can become a part of the country, as this might be one of the goals or missions that he was given by Joy Boy in the past. And as I said before, aside from those two big things, we also have the Marines showing up in Wano as well. So who knows what's going to happen, because we know the Marines are going to be apt to capture any pirate that they can get, or anyone who survived this confrontation against Kaido. In addition to that, the Gorosei, if they really confirm that Luffy has this new power and has awakened this ancient devil fruit, they may order the Marines to go specifically after him, but maybe not to defeat him, but at least get him in custody. So in order to bring a swift end to Luffy, or to at least bring him down so the world government can get their hands on him, they are going to have to send somebody incredibly strong to Wano. And the only person who could possibly get there fast enough would be Kizaru, because he is the admiral who has the fastest ability, having the light fruit, or glint fruit, that allows him to travel at nearly the speed of light. Now, the last time we heard anything about Kizaru, we saw Akainu stop him from going to Wano, because they didn't know the exact power level of all the swordsmen on Wano. So Kizaru stayed at the Marine headquarters while waiting for orders to follow. So this might give some time for the sailors to contact back, or at least be alerted by the Gorosei, and then have Kizaru dispatched from there. But even then, even though Kizaru travels at the speed of light, we don't necessarily know the distance that he would have to cover in order to get to Wano, or if he could even get there in a straight line for that matter. So even though he can get there quickly, he may still end up showing up just a bit late. And this might be a bigger part of the plan, to have the person with the sun god powers ground down and worn out by the world's strongest creature, and then move in to strike and attack and get that devil fruit back. After all, everyone would be too tired to face them, and especially for Luffy, because we don't even know yet what the side effect is going to be from him being in Gear 5th, because we know that every evolution he's had, there has been some kind of consequence, and this would be no different for this new awakening. So the last possibility is that even if the Marines and Kizaru and everybody else shows up to take on Luffy, we could also see allies of the Straw Hats show up, maybe even part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet coming in, because everybody has been waiting for Joy Boy to reappear. So it could be that we also get support from other characters we haven't seen in a while. One other added benefit to this story about Luffy's awakening, especially with it being a Zoan, is that we now might actually get to see how Oda develops a better story about Zoan fruits in general, because we've seen a lot about Logias, and we've seen the Paramecia journey, or at least alleged Paramecia journey, that Luffy's been going through. But now we'll actually get to see the Zoan arc, not only with Luffy, but even Momonosuke, as he continues to develop his own powers. But for now, we're just gonna have to stick and speculate, because we really don't yet know how this one works, because being a mythical Zoan, it may have other rules that regular Zoans don't apply. So with all that covered, and the possibilities of the world government, the Marines, we have to really look at Zunisha, and Zunisha being a really large part of this story going forward, because we know that Zunisha is there and has been called there by the drums of liberation. And due to Zunisha Zunisha's great size, he would be able to bring some major needed support, especially since most everybody in the Straw Hat Alliance, all of our vassals, and everybody that's been involved in this fight have got to be spent after all of this great confrontation. So with Zunisha's help, Luffy and the Straw Hats will be able to safely free Wano and allow them to continue going on to One Piece, and hopefully what we'll see them going to Elbaf. Another thing that we could also see is that Yamato might finally get an invitation from Luffy to join the Straw Hat crew, because like Odin, Yamato wants to leave Wano to go see the world. But whether or not Yamato joins or not, we don't necessarily know. We know that somebody might need to even stay back in Wano to look over things as Momonosuke takes over and gains power, or even to just help everything stay stable during the transition after Kaido loses power. But either way, we're really excited what'll be coming up in our next chapter, and for now, we'd love to know what you think. Do you think that we could see a Marine Admiral coming in to swoop in and take Luffy? Do you think Zunisha might be that related and yet unknown MVP to this whole raid and make it so that Luffy and the Straw Hats can get away? Let us know in the comments below. So friends, as we get ready to end the video, we want to thank you so much for watching till the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you've made it this far, give us a like as you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.